right, 5th grade. This is lesson 6.8. So in lesson 6.8, we're still dividing, and in this lesson we're dividing 4-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. So in our Explore and Grow, this is kind of like what we did in lesson 6.7, except for now our dividends are bigger. They have 4 digits instead of 3. So again, all of these division problems, none of them have a remainder. So we want to know which problems have 2 digits and which have 3 digits. And how do we know without calculating? So if you remember in lesson 6.7, the way we found out is we multiplied by 10. And if that number was equal to or less than the dividend, then it would have 2 digits. If it was greater than, then it would only have 1 digit. Okay, well we've added an extra digit, right? Because we had 3 digits before, now we have 4. So instead of multiplying by 10, we're going to add an extra digit. So we're going to multiply by 100. And if that number is equal to or less than, it will have 3 digits. If it's greater than, then it will have 2 digits. Okay, so let's do a few together. We're going to do these 3 together, and then I'll let you try these 3 on your own. All right, so 1,890 divided by 18. So remember now, the dividend we're going to multiply by 100. So 18 multiplied by 100 is 18 with 2 zeros, right? All right, so we look here at our answer is 1,800. Our dividend was 1,890. So this is smaller. It's less than. So it will have 3 digits. So remember, equal or less than 3 digits. If it's greater than, 2 digits in this lesson. Okay, so below that, remember we're not solving, we just are telling how many digits the answer would have. So you'll say 3 digits. All right, 8,200 divided by 40. So we're going to take our divisor, the 40, multiply by 100. That equals 40 with 2 zeros. Okay, 4,000. Excuse me. 4,000 is less than 8,000, right? So since it is less than, the answer will have 3 digits. So you'll write 3 digits. All right, let's do this one. 4,774 divided by 62. Okay, so we're going to take the 62, multiply by 100. Not divide, sorry. Multiply by 100. Okay, which is 62 and 2 zeros. 6,200. Our dividend was 4,774. 6,000 is greater than 4,000, right? So the answer, the quotient for this division problem will only have 2 digits. Okay? So remember, less than 3 digits, greater than 2 digits. So try these 3 on your own. Okay. Then down here on our reasoning, can a 4-digit whole number divided by a 2-digit whole number have a whole number quotient with 4 digits? Explain your reasoning. It cannot. If you are dividing a 4-digit whole number by a 2-digit number, so like any of these problems up here, they're all 4 digits divided by 2. The only way, so your answer would be no. It cannot have 4 digits. The only way to have a 4-digit quotient would be to divide by a 1-digit number, a single digit. So if you were to divide 4,000 by 20, right, 4 digits by 2, you cannot do 2 digits into 1. So you cannot have anything there, which automatically rules out a 4-digit answer. The closest you can get right, is a 3-digit. The only way to get a 4-digit number with a 4-digit dividend would be to have a 1-digit divisor. 2 can go into 4, right? Okay, so your answer down here is no. The only way to have a 4-digit quotient is to divide by a 1-digit number. Okay? And the how do you know for up here without calculating, multiply the divisor by 100. If it is equal to or less than the dividend, the answer will have 3 digits. If it is greater than, it will have 2 digits. Okay? And you can pause or rewind, whatever you need to do so that you can get those and get them written down. All right, let's look at our Think and Grow example. We're going to divide. Find 3,290 divided by 31. So first we're going to estimate. Okay, so we're going to estimate, we're going to round this to the nearest 1,000, and we're going to round this to the nearest 10. So 3,290 divided by 31. 3,290 rounded to the nearest 1,000, so we'd look at the 100. The 2 would keep this out of 3, right? So we have 3,000. And then we're going to round this to the nearest 10. So we look at our ones place, it's a 1, so that keeps out at a 3. Okay, so 3,000 divided by 30. 30 can't go into 3, but it can go into 30 one time. And then the rest are zeros, so the rest of those are zeros. So our estimate is 100. Now because we have that estimate and the first digit is in the hundreds place, we know that the first digit of our actual answer is going to be in the hundreds place. Okay, now we're going to divide. 31 into 3,290. Okay, they've done this part for us. 31 can go into 32 one time. 32 minus 31 leaves you with 1. Bring down your 9. 31 cannot go into 19. If it's bigger than that number, it can't do it. Okay, so you would put a 0 there. It can go in a total of 0 times. 31 times 0 is 0. So then you subtract. 19 minus 0 is 19, and then you bring down that 0. So now we want to know how many times can 31 go into 190 without going over. It is 6 times. I'm going to give it to you. It would be 186. 31 times 6 is 186. Then you subtract. 190 minus 186 is 4. We've come to the end, right? We've brought down our last number, so this 4 is a remainder. So 3,290 divided by 31 is 106. Remainder 4. Is this reasonable? Is 106 remainder 4 pretty close to 100? Yes, it is. So reasonable. 106 remainder 4 is close to 100. Check. All right. So you are going to divide. Remember, you can check your answer. You check your answer by multiplying the answer you got by the divisor. So I'm going to show that to you real quick and what to do with the remainder. Okay, so they got 106 remainder 4. So to check to see if our answer is correct, the divisor was 31. So you multiply the whole number, not the remainder, by that divisor. So 106 multiplied by 31. Okay, so 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 6 is 18, carry my 1. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, now we're going to add. 6 plus 0, 6, 0 plus 8 is 8, 1 plus 1 is 2, 3. Alright, now this number, remember the total was 3,290. This number is not that number, right? But now what do we do with our remainder? The remainder we add. to this number that we got from multiplying. So we're going to add 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 1 is 9. Bring down my 2, bring down my 3. So now that number matches that number. So if you are to check, you multiply the whole number and then you take that remainder and you add it to the answer you got when you multiplied, and that should give you the dividend from the beginning. Okay? Now, like I said, I think I said, I'm not going to make you write out the check. If you want to check it, that's up to you. If you feel pretty confident you divided correctly, you don't need to check. If you, however, found a remainder, you got to the end and you found a remainder, and that remainder is bigger than the number that you were dividing by, you went wrong somewhere. The remainder will never be bigger than the divisor. Okay, if it's bigger than the divisor, somewhere something went wrong. Okay, the remainder, if there is one, will always be smaller than the divisor. Okay, let's look at some word problems, some story problems. Okay, the Great Barrier Reef is 2,300 kilometers long. A marine biologist studies the entire reef. He can explore no more than 75 kilometers of reef each week. How many kilometers of reef does the biologist explore the last week? Okay, so we're going to divide that total length by how much he can explore each week. So the total length was 2,300, and he can explore 75 each week. Alright, so now 75 cannot go into 2. 75 also cannot go into 23, right? 'Cause 75 is bigger. So our first digit is going to be here in the tens place. So now let's figure out 75 times 1 is 75. So that's definitely would work. Let's see if we can get closer. 75 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Okay, that would work also, but let's see if we can get bigger. 75 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21. Plus 1 is 22. 225. Now I'm going to say this is the closest we can get without going over 230. Right? Because if we were to add just 5 more to this, we'd be at 230. So we couldn't add a whole number of 75. So my first number that I can do is 3, and it goes in the tens place. Okay, that answer was 225. So I'm going to subtract 225 from my 230. Okay, I'm going to subtract. Had to borrow, right? Because you can't take away 5 from 0. So 10 minus 5 is 5. Oh, I made that a 1. That should be a 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down my 5. Okay. Can 75 go into 50? If this number is bigger than that one, it can't go in at all. You can't divide. So the closest you can get without going over is 0. Okay. So this one number is a 0. Okay. 0 times 75 is 0. So 50 minus 0 is still 50. Okay, I've gotten to the end. I have this left over. My remainder, 50, it's big, right? That seems like a pretty big number, but it's smaller than 75. So my remainder is 50. Okay, so I have 30, remainder 50. So we've got 30, remainder 50, right? This was 225. Brought down the 0 for 50. 50 minus 0 is still 50. So here, 30, remainder 50. Okay, so now let's interpret that answer to answer the question it wants to know. Our quotient, the whole number part, is 30. So the biologist explores 75 kilometers of reef for each week for 30 weeks. Our remainder is 50. Now that 50 that's left over is not weeks. That 50 that is left over is kilometers. There are 50 kilometers left over. It wants to know how many kilometers of reef does the biologist explore in the last week? Well, there were 30 weeks where he could explore the whole 75. Then in that last week, there were only 50 left, right? So the biologist explores 50 kilometers of reef in the last week. Okay, so for this word problem, they wanted us to just focus on the remainder. Okay, so you've got to know what that remainder means. That remainder does not equal more weeks. That remainder is what's left over of the, in this case, kilometers, once we know how many weeks it took. Okay? All right, so that is the basics for lesson 6.8. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always available to help. And I will see you next time. Bye.